But hey, we're not arguing.
Right, hey, we're not arguing, we're discussing. Hi guys, it is me, April, Disney Mama of 2, and we still have Quarantine Husband.
Yep, Jordan, the wife of...
The what? Well, we have this guy too. This is Doc. He won't leave us alone.
Yeah, he really won't.
So today we are doing another Marvel Talk Tuesday. Do you want to tell them what number we're battling for?
We're battling for number 10.
We're going to do this... Really? We're going to do this slightly different today. We're going to talk more in unison together about our feelings of the movies. We are going, instead of doing like a pros and cons, why I like this movie, why I don't like that one. Because at this point in the Marvel Talk, in the list to find number 1, we like all the rest of the movies, basically.
Like a lot.
Like a lot. So, who are you arguing?
I'm going to say that Iron Man 2 should be number 10.
And I'm going to say the first Avenger movie.
But hey, we're not arguing.
Right, hey, we're not arguing. We're discussing why we think this.
Friendly discussions.
Friendly discussions. So, what movie do you want to start with?
Let's start with Iron Man 2.
Okay. Take it away!
Okay, so I know you agree because you're a big Tony Stark fan, but I'll start with the couple of pros that I have for this movie, and those being that the Tony Stark one-liners, as always, are great. I already told you I don't want to join your super secret boy band.
I want you guys to be your one.
And like you and I were talking,
I need to get one of those.
Yeah. And like you and I were talking off camera just a little bit ago, the character development of Tony throughout this movie, personally, I think was really good.
Yes, I really enjoyed seeing him struggle with his finiteness. Mm-hmm. The idea that, you know, he might be this superhero, but the arc reactor that's keeping him alive is also killing him. Mm-hmm. So not only does he have to deal with, you know, well, I mean, in the beginning he gives Stark Industries to Pepper, but, you know, he's dealing with all of this stuff, but he's also dying. Yeah. So.
And I don't know. That's the pros that I have written down. Was that? What do you got?
So I have the personal development, but I also have the introduction of Black Widow. She's one of my favorite female superheroes, and I think it's mainly her humanity that I really like. But this is the movie that introduces her to the MCU universe, which is why I really like this movie. And I know it's controversial, but I actually enjoy the recast of War Machine. Mm-hmm.
Me too.
And not that the other actor that I don't think could have done it could have done it for the rest of the time. It'd been fine. But I think Don Cheadle does a good job.
But for me, for a recast, it worked.
It worked.
It didn't bother me.
Exactly.
At all. I don't know why.
What are your cons? What don't you like about this movie?
Well, it falls in with all the Iron Man movies. I don't like Pepper at all. But that's pretty trivial. The big thing for me for this movie was that I really do not enjoy Whiplash as a villain. I just feel like his lack of dialogue and personality was not a win for me.
Yeah. To elaborate on that more, I don't like either of the villains. I think for being a superhero movie that's supposed to have this big villain, they have 2 villains, Whiplash and Justin Hammer, and neither of them, to me, are fully developed as a character enough to be like, oh my god, I hate him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They aren't a Thanos. They aren't even an Ultron, which I don't like that movie. But at least he has a development, a storyline of where it...
So yeah, that's
those are your only cons?
That's what I got. And, you know, like we talked, it's getting harder and harder to sit here and say, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that about every movie, because for the most part we do. We like these movies.
We do like these movies. At this point we're nitpicking as to why each are going to go where. I have more reasons why I don't like it. I think they could have done a better introduction of Black Widow into the movie. Mm-hmm. She kind of just appears and was like, hey, I'm this sultry, you know, badass that comes in and kicks Happy's butt in the ring, you know, but... It's still good. It's still good.
I feel like that might be one of those things that makes a little more sense when we get to watch Black Widow. And you see maybe the character type that she is.
I mean, I know she was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and, you know, they wanted an insight into Iron Man's world. But
But
it could have been better. It could have been better.
Make a little more sense when her
maybe, but there's no speculation, no point about speculating to that at the moment.
Because we don't know.
We don't know. So, and another reason why I don't think this one should be higher than possibly number 9, or arguing for 10, is I don't think it's as compelling as the other 2 Iron Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the storyline in both of those, and just not so much here. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So we're going to talk about the first Avenger movie. Does it have an actual title? Is it just The Avengers?
It's The Avengers, but I've seen it referred to as like Avengers Assemble.
Oh, okay.
But it's just The Avengers.
You know, this is what you think of when you think of The Avengers. There's some really iconic like scenes from this movie. The circle up when they're going in, they're going to save New York.
Yes.
And when Hulk goes, ah! I can see that in my head like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Another really good thing is that to me this is the first like really development as Hulk as a character.
Yeah, it was kind of like the I'm not going to say the reintroduction of him into the MCU, but it
kind of was because the first movie was such a flop, and there's a whole other character.
So it's the Banner as we know it.
Exactly.
That's how you get to know it.
Exactly.
So that is cool.
Exactly. So, do you have anything else to add to why you like?
Why I like Avengers?
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Just as far as it is the start of the legacy, and I think that's really great.
So, cons. What I don't like about this movie. What I don't like is Loki is not as developed. For how much he becomes. Obviously this is the first time he's introduced into the universe, but really it doesn't really explain a whole lot as to, why couldn't Thor just, you know what I mean? Take care of it.
Just take care of Loki.
Just take care of it. They don't really explain why we should be so afraid of Loki and why it takes a whole team.
The whole team.
To get him. Granted, he does have I'm going to give this to him because I like the stones. He has the Tesseract. But he has the Tesseract. That's like the only thing I can come up with. Another thing I don't like is for the introduction of Hawkeye into the Marvel Universe, he is a zombie for 3/4 of this movie. So you don't really get to know him, his character, Hawkeye, why he is who he is.
Hawkeye. The
only really development of him is towards the end. When Black Widow and Hawkeye are talking, I'm your friend, this is me, when she's trying to get him to come out of his zombie state. And then really you're just like, okay, he shoots an arrow.
Right.
Especially for someone like me who has read minimal of the comics.
Our background knowledge into these, though, before watching the movies was 0.
That's not true.
You had a little bit. I had 0 coming into this, so.
Yeah. So those are our main points. We didn't argue like we did in the last ones because, like I said, we're at a point where we enjoy all these movies. So, we're going to talk a little bit off screen and see if we can come up with a number 10 and tell you our reason. Okay, so we briefly deliberated. It was pretty brief.
It was brief.
So we decided that, for once, Jordan wins. Iron Man 2 is going to be in our number 10 spot, and the Avengers, I'm just calling it Avengers, the first one.
That's it. That's Avengers.
It's going to be number 9. Mainly because I have agreed that the start of this whole Avengers Assemble and being that my 2 favorite movies are Infinity War and Endgame, it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is the start. And with the weak and underdeveloped villains in Iron Man 2, we're going to put it at number 10. Yeah. And then we already have previously discussed when we first started all this that Iron Man 3 is in spot number 8. So when we see you again next week, we'll be arguing for number 7.
Number 7.
We know it's going to be Captain America. It's going to be Captain America, the first Avenger, versus something.
All right. So, yeah, tune in next week. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you then.